So we recently got our oysters from this Restore Our Shores. This is a program that is trying to help the Indian River Lagoon. And so we are raising baby oysters, and we will be doing this for the next 6 to 9 months. So we have these cages. We have the oysters. There's little baby oysters called spat on these, and we will stick them in these cages, and then we'll hang them from our dock. And every week we will clean them, we'll take care of them, and then hopefully grow new oysters, and we'll put them out there on oyster reefs. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to take this rope, we're going to stretch it, and we don't want the oyster traps to sit on the bottom. We actually want them to be probably about 8 foot under the water level, and so the tide comes and goes, the water level changes, so we want to make sure that there's enough rope there to get it down below
Would
the
that
water.
be so like crabs don't get at the oysters?
Yeah, so we don't want them on the bottom because the predators, the crabs, the little sea conchs, they'll be able to get in there and eat all the babies. So we're going to try to keep it up off the bottom, but just below the water. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on.
So, but this is different from the vertical oyster gardens. So,
Yep.
it looks like instead of just hanging them vertically, looks like we have the rope just hanging down, tied between the two oyster hooks. And we rod it up, and we're going to attach the cage to it. But don't put the paper that it comes with in the water.
That would just be nasty.
We got the oyster traps tied up to the dock. We got our little care sheet from the Restore Our Shores people. And we got 3 bags of oysters. So we're going to take each one of these straps, we'll get about 1.5 bags. We'll separate one of these, get them in the pots, and then we'll kickstart our whole oyster growing journey. Yeah. So on these shells, what we have right now is we have baby oysters. They're really small, and it's hard for the camera to pick up. There's a little spat here sitting on these shells. So oysters are gregarious species. So the baby oysters will find like species. So they'll find these shells as they float through the water, and then they'll land on here and they'll cement them to them. And then eventually they'll grow bigger and bigger until they're a full-grown oyster.
Just undoing the bag, the top.
Oysters! That's one. I'll take about half of one of these other bags.
Now we're going to put a half a bag in the other. Or half a bag in that one. And we got all the oysters in. Now that looks like a lot from this zoom, but zoom out. Not a lot. So now we put them in the cage. And we're just trying to spread them out so we can have an even weight in the crate. And they're just going to sit there. Voila.
Let's go! Oh, you're going.
So they gave us this care sheet. So what we'll end up doing is once a week for the first month, we'll leave them out for 3 to 4 hours a week. We'll hose them off. We'll make sure that nothing's growing on them. And then at the 2 to 4 month stage, it'll be 8 hours a week. And we'll again clean them off, make sure nothing's fouling them. And then as we get to the 5 to 9 month stage, we'll leave them out for 8 hours, maybe once or twice a week. And then of course clean them off, make sure nothing's growing on them. So they gave us this also, they gave us a sheet here. It talks a lot about the predators of oysters. So flatworms, blue crabs, crown conch, stone crab, oyster toadfish, and sheep's head.
No! That's why we want to eat them!
We also have barnacles, freshwater mussels, and tube worms. Those are the things we got to look out for and clean them off. And of course, if we have any questions, they give us contact information. But over the next several weeks, we'll be kind of walking you through how we're raising them and how this is, how everything's working out. We'll show you how we clean them, and you'll be able to see how they progress and grow over the next few weeks. All right, everybody. This is our first cleaning. We're gonna just spray them with a hose. All right, so everything is sprayed off, and we are just going to let them air out, maybe about 3 to 4 hours. Then we'll put them back in the water, and we'll go ahead and do this again next week.